to say that one thing about the civil service, when you are employed, your contract with your employer, in this case the federal government, is that you have taken an oath to serve Nigeria and Nigerians equally in any capacity you found yourself. It's completely different from an elective office or a politically appointed office, that you are not supposed to look narrowly in the service of the community that produced you as a civil servant. Be that as it may, knowing and realizing that we are a product of our own community, and if we cannot render certain services to them, nobody else will. The only challenge the civil servant always have is that no matter the height of your own position, you always find yourself being beggarly, even in things that you do. Because the understanding and belief is that as a civil servant, you have to be seen, not to be heard. And like I said, from the offices where I worked, in the National Poverty Eradication Program, while I was the state secretary, a couple of programs that were attracted to Igede land, courtesy of our own efforts. It was more or less an empowerment program where the unemployed graduates were empowered. We brought in a number of graduates into this program. It may interest you to note that His Royal Highness, the present Adoto Obi, was the program coordinator for the local government when I was the state secretary. Barrister Ben Oga from Woko was the local government coordinator for Oju. I remember at some point in time, 5 indigent persons were selected from each of the 11 council wards in Oju local government at that time. And each person was being paid a certain amount of money for a period of 1 year. At the end of 1 year, each one of them was paid 84,000 naira. That program at that time benefited only 5 local governments in the state. I actually equally remember that the community of Annual, they are still there. A Gary processing plant was attracted to the community. Then some form of soft loan given to farmers within the community to farm cassava that will be products of that industry. My community of Achimoko is still a living witness. I established a Gary processing plant for the community and organized them into 8 cooperative societies that loan facilities ranging between 350,000 to 450,000 given to each of the cooperative groups at that time. And the value of our naira at that time was a lot much higher than what we have today. And equally, Obi local government had a thriving, surviving community bank. at the time. And as one of the surviving community banks in Zone C, I made it possible for the bank to enjoy a loan facility of about 10 million for disbursement to farmers. That was when I worked with NAPEP. When I left NAPEP and went to Abuja, particularly during my work life in Ministry of Interior, I do not have figures readily available, but a huge number of Igede sons and daughters. I facilitated, consciously I'm using the word facilitation here, I facilitated their employment into the federal service. Currently, a number of them are undergoing training, and I can be very specific. Close to about 30 children of Igede, boys and girls, are undergoing training as recruits into the federal fire service. The number that are in the immigration service, the number that are in the federal Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, the number that are in the Nigeria Correctional Service. We did this not to play politics with it. We did this believing that wherever you find yourself as the product of Igede, as the son of Igede, having understood their needs, anything you can do, do. If there is another opportunity for any other person, let that person complement your own effort. It is by so doing we can impact on our societies. There are other things in terms of provision of water, sometimes grading of roads. I think the segment of road, the road from Ekachi to Anjimogo was graded and then asphalted at some point. From Ekachi to Anjimogo, a distance of about 2 kilometers. The national grid connected to Anjimogo community, I think, is a product of my own effort. And the entire family, the whole community of Anjimogo is connected to this national grid. So these and others are just marginal, I can say, efforts that the opportunity gave to us to serve our people. Now, like I said before, yes, you will hear a director in the service, but a counselor sometimes could have a more listening ears in terms of patronage of things, because the understanding is always that is the elected representative. You are the servant of government that has been appointed to serve without looking at your left, right, or so. I think if you are going to judge us in terms of our performance and contribution to our own community on the basis of this, you are very free to assess us whether we have impacted